Duetoronomy 33 and verse 25. Thy shoes shall be iron and brass, and as thy days, so shall thy strength be. I listened to a very interesting program on the radio today, and they said if you want to go on a long distance journey on a coach, choose an older driver, not a younger driver, because the younger drivers don't have the same capacity to stay awake. And I can tell you from a personal experience, I was in Uganda with another brother, almost 40 years younger than me, a couple of years ago. And we got a night bus back from Uganda to Rwanda. And I eaten something that night and I got the runs, so I couldn't afford to go to sleep on the bus because I didn't want to mess my pants. So I stayed awake all night on that bus. And when we got to the location where we were going, he was due to speak in a church Saturday night and Sunday morning. So we get to the church, he's fallen asleep, so I had to preach. So I thought, oh, okay, he'll probably do it tomorrow, he'll have a night's sleep. Come Sunday morning, he's fallen asleep again. I had to preach again, and he's 30 years younger than me. No, almost 40 years younger, actually, or about 38 years younger. And years ago, there was a man called Stephen Page, who was a AOG pastor, night superintendent for London, said to me in the late 80s, you're too old now to do missions. That's many years ago. And I'm still doing the missions. And I say to you older people, do not retire. You have more ability to stay awake than the young people do. I found that I went away on young people's retreats and I was last in bed and first up in the morning, and they couldn't understand it. So as your days, so your strength shall be. Then I have one more experience to share. And that was my friend said to me, I'm going to Southall tomorrow. Oh, are you? Well, let me tell you what happened in Southall. Now, I was in Southall in the early 80s, and I was in a Baptist church, and some people had come from the States to preach. After the preaching, the preacher said, no, I'm going to call down the Holy Spirit. And he did that, and nothing happened. He said, there's something blocking it. What is it? Straight away, the Lord gave me the word Shiva. And somebody said it's pride, so he bound pride. Then he said, so it's the Muslims. He bound that, nothing happened. I said, actually, it's Shiva. He said, okay, brother, you bind. I bound Shiva in Jesus Christ's name. The Holy Spirit fell on lots of people. My friend Bob was on the floor. I went over to pray for him, and the Lord gave me a long prophecy over him. And we're still friends today, and he got baptized with the Holy Spirit. What I found out was, what I knew was that Indira Gandhi had just been assassinated by a Sikh bodyguard. So all the Hindus turned on the Sikhs and killed them. Now then, South was full of Sikhs. Hindus were in the minority. They got scared, so they went into the temple to do puja and to call on Shiva. And it called down the spirit. So I understood the background, and I understood it more than the people who were living in Southall, because I'd lived with Indians in teams, in different areas, in remote villages. Whereas the people in the Southall, they don't mix that deeply. They don't understand the culture that well, or the Hindu culture. But I did, because I lived there. But I got the word from the Lord. I didn't get it from my background, but when I got that word, I understood what it was. And I got a friend called George Vera, and up until 2 years ago, he's travelled the world. He's 82, so he's older than me, I'm 74. The only reason he stopped travelling is because of the pandemic. So as your days, so your strength shall be. So do not give up and do not retire. Continue on for God.